Hi,
Hi, Aubrey.
it's Annie Morrison again,
And
and
Blake Walton. Hey, great. This is our second week, and we want to get
just
you up
up
to
to speed
speed
what
with
happened
all of
today.
it.
Yeah, we decided to actually record right after, sort of, so we can remember what we did.
Right.
Um, I don't know if Miss Mills has given you the homework assignment that we gave the other class, and I'm sure she's on top of it, which was to interview someone in your family. It could be your mother, father, or caregiver, or grandparent, about what we would call a family legend. Um, for instance, like a legend that your family tells from over and over about something that's part of your lineage or your ancestry.
And I think she'll ask you to write it, so we'll be able to read what you say, and that'll be great.
Right, just a few minutes of asking. Like for instance, I would say that I remember talking to my mom, and she told a story about her family, which her maiden name was Walker, came from Scotland, and a part of Scotland that has palm trees because the Gulf Stream. Somehow I feel like we may have told this to you the last time as a possibility for the homework assignment. I think we probably told her
We
that.
did.
I think we
Yeah,
did.
we told you about it.
So you got that,
Right.
hopefully. So, well, hopefully we'll hear from you. That would be lovely. In class today, one of the things we did is we had everybody close their eyes, and I talked them through uh, just to talk them through a visualization.
Let's do that.
Let's just do it.
So if you close your eyes,
We'll close our eyes to
and
it.
then we'll all go through this visualization, and
Okay.
Annie will talk.
Okay. So here we go. Close our eyes. So I want you to just relax and imagine that you are standing in a field or a meadow, a field, and just take in the smells for a little bit. You can feel a beautiful, cool breeze rippling through the field. It's not a heavy breeze, but it's a nice, wonderful breeze. You can feel it on the side of your face. And you just got this impulse to just run in the field. And as you're running, you become very aware on the other side of your face, the sun is shining and it feels good. So you got the breeze on the one side of your body and the sun shining on the other as you begin to run through the grass, through the field. And take in the smells. Maybe they're flowers or wildflowers or just the smell of the grass or the trees that are all around. And you're just running and you're running and you're running and it feels great. And now you become aware that up ahead you can see these rocks, big rocks. So it's going to cause you to slow down and be a little more cautious because you don't want to step on a rock. But you're very curious. There's these two big boulder rocks that has a little bit of a gap between them, and you're curious to walk over there. And the closer that you get, the terrain's a little rougher, and you're aware that there looks like there might be a kind of a mountain or a hill way over on the other side of the rocks. So you go up a little bit closer and you find yourself going between the rocks a little bit and you stop because now there you are on the edge of a huge cliff, the precipice. So you cautiously step a little closer and put your toes dangling off and just slightly lean a little bit over and catch yourself and step back. Okay, you can open your eyes.
Okay. Now we ask students immediately some questions. Why don't you write some of them down, and you could answer them and then give them to Ms. Mills. That would be helpful for you and helpful for us. So one of the questions we asked were, first of all, when you got to the edge of the cliff, did you feel something? I know that sometimes when I'm standing at the edge, my stomach will turn a little bit, and I'll feel a little scared, and then come back.
You sometimes feel that kind of, sometimes I get a little buzzing right here in my
Yeah.
wrist. I don't know what that is, but it's that sense of panic, that feeling of leaning over.
So write down that question. Did you feel anything when you stood at the edge? And then we'd also like to know
your impressions of being in the field.
How did you see it as if you were in your body, or did you see yourself walking in the field as you were imagining that?
Neither are wrong, just people do it differently.
So write down something about that. Just a quick answer about yes, I saw it through my eyes, or yes, it was like watching me in a movie, watching that. These are all ways that you can start thinking about your imagination and um, how you can actually close your eyes and see a whole movie, see a whole scenario of a given thing.
And this is important for the work that we're going to be doing
Right.
with an elder. Um, because when you're interviewing, quite often we don't really, with active listening, we don't always allow ourselves to see what the storyteller is giving us. So to enhance that, or you may automatically just do that anyway, but some people are not aware that that's what they're doing. So allow yourself to be aware, and when you really go in there while someone's telling a story, you're seeing it. It will help you to navigate their storytelling, to get more information. Like, notice I said, did you feel the breeze on the side of your body, and then the sun on the other? That could be something that while they're talking, you might say, is there a breeze in the field?
Right.
Which enhances the storyteller and helps them to go back and remember things and embellish their story too. So
you may have noticed when you were imagining that, walking through, and you felt yourself in some kind of field, and you may have smelled flowers, but then when Annie was asking you to think about some other things, for me, they came into the picture. In fact, I started smelling dirt,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
and grass, and at one point she said maybe the trees nearby, and suddenly there were trees that weren't there before, and then they went away. Um, but
As you put your focus, as
yeah,
you go through the story.
but it's also a great way for you to understand your imagination and how you see stuff,
Right.
because we see things differently
Right.
in different ways. Great.
So in class, and we just listened to everybody tell their story. Miss Mills has put, because people had sent in what they had written with their interview with their parents. She put it up on the board so people could choose to read it if they wanted to, or just embellish it in their own words. And it was really great to hear what they picked up on. One of the classmates had a hard time getting information from his father. I don't know if it was because father just didn't know how to participate, or didn't know how to ask the right questions, but he remembered a story in class and then he shared it and wrote it down.
Yeah.
So I hope you get a chance. I hope you get to read that.
So if you write that for Ms. Mills, we'll have it. We'll be able to see it, like we said.
And the students said it was great because they never heard that story before when they asked their parents, which is great.
And let her know if you couldn't accomplish it. She'll talk to you about that. But there are also other ways to accomplish the same thing. If you've got somebody nearby who might be able to tell you a story that's more recent or something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great part of listening and throwing back.
Mm-hmm. And getting used to it. Like, we talk to our peers, we talk to our teachers, we talk to our parents on some level, but then now pretty soon you're going to be talking to someone you don't know, who's your elder, and we're trying to learn the skills of getting good story and good information from them so that you can create a monologue to represent them. But I wanted to read. I got to put my glasses on because I'm getting older now. I wanted to read something that I read in class, just because it's a nice thing to think about when we're talking to older people. This is a story from a book, but it's based on a real conversation with someone who was a nursing home resident, and he was having a painful plea to be heard. And he says, heard, if they only understood how important it is that we be heard. I can take being in a nursing home. It's really all right, with a positive attitude. My daughter has her hands full, 3 kids and a job. She visits regularly, and I understand. But most people, they just want to tell their story. That's what they have to give, don't you see? And it's a precious thing to them. It's their life they want to give. You think people would understand what it means to us to give our life in a story. So we listen to each other. Most of what goes on here are people just listening to each other's stories. People who work here consider that to be filling time. If they only knew, if they'd just take a minute and listen. And listening to story is kind of like soul work. It's deep, profound work, and it can help the living having more meaning in their life. It can help people who are dying to accept um, the brevity of their lives. And without listening, we just don't have a story. So that's a very, very important thing to know, how important it is to have this experience.
Next week, we don't quite know yet how we're going to accomplish this and also how we can incorporate you in the class some form.
And we'll figure this out.
Next week, the classroom students and one remote student are going to be meeting the elders, and they will have a chance to talk to them and interview. Um, they're given what we call the speed date, which is they spend a short amount of time with each of them so they get a good sense of who they would like to work with. And then you, as the students, get to choose. It may be true, Aubrey, that you are the default student. You will be assigned somebody. They're all incredible people. You'll be assigned
I
somebody.
think she'll be able to choose. I think so.
Oh, yes,
because
I'm sorry.
I
Yes.
think Miss
What am I
Mills
saying?
has given
Of
you
course.
all a bio on these people, and what we'll do is we'll record them so that you can also see them and get a sense of it, and so that you can be part of it that way. And maybe Miss Mills even has a better idea. I'm not sure what she's going to do, but
Right, there will be of course. I forget what I said about default student because you should be in this class just as actively as
Right.
everybody else. So that's great.
We'll figure it out.
Find something.
And also, I think Miss Mills might have shown you, but we sent in this thing. It's called Storytelling Questionnaire, and I wonder if I still have it up and I can share this. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. I forgot.
Right, that's
I'm
right.
making a movie.
Right.
But it's a questionnaire that has prompts that might help you in coming up with ideas, and
Right.
and it's a lot. It's like going back to when they were young, when asking a person when they were young, what it was like when they were married, life events, a section of taking stock of their lives, like if they have any serious accidents, were they in the war, any war. Just there's a little series of prompts, and I know that in the other class they're going to sit down and figure out the kinds of questions they want to ask, and that's probably something that Miss Mills will do with you as well.
And I think
It'll be
she
helpful.
did maybe assign to you already 5 different events in your life that you would tell somebody if they asked you the question, what are 5 meaningful things that happened to you? That we didn't ask the adults, but we will prior to their coming for them to think about that same thing. Because during the interview, they won't be asking you questions. It's only you asking them to find out who you want to work with and finding out a little bit of something about them.
Yeah. We're also going to probably ask a question. It's like a homework assignment. Is to think about what you wanted to be when you were 5 years old, when you grew up. When you were 5, what did you want to be when you grow up? And it's kind of a profound thing. And you might say, "Oh, this is silly. I just wanted to be like a fire engine person, whatever." But it doesn't matter. We just want to know what it is, and it might be what we will do to prompt getting to know each other. And so be prepared to think about what did I want to be when I was 5? What did I want to be when I grew up? Opposed to where you are now.
The elders are all doing the same,
Yeah.
so that's really great.
And I'm 64, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'll be when I grow up.
Yeah, we haven't
Coming
grown
up.
up yet, so.
One of the things that's in that storytelling questionnaire, and she'll probably send it to you so you can take a look at it. There's a little thing that was said at the top that I want you to pay attention to. It says one way to begin is to ask yourself or whoever you're interviewing, what would be the major chapters in your life if you were to write your autobiography today? So that's something else to think of. Oh, how am I going to interview this person? That might help them. If you were going to write your autobiography today, what would be some of the things? And that might help you. I think that's in class. They're going to be doing an exercise, and I bet Carrie will probably even do it in your class just as an exercise. She thought she would do it. So I'm not going to tell you what they are because she's probably going to do it in your class. But it's a listening exercise.
Yeah.
And I think that will get you caught up. Um, can you think of anything else that she will need to know?
No.
I think that's good.
But if you have any questions about anything that we're doing, you can ask Miss Mills very specifically, and she'll relay that to us, and we can
I'm
get
going to
an
ask
answer
Miss
for you.
Mills if Blake and I could pop in at the beginning of your 9:30 class
Love to meet you
just to
there.
meet you. And I know she's going to say yes. So don't be surprised if we're not. If you're not there tomorrow, probably by the end of this week, we'll pop in and say hi. Of course, you know what we look like right now, but we want to see who you are. So I hope this is helpful. We're excited to get started, and thanks for being a part of this.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
We'll see you in person
Really
at some
soon.
point. Yeah.